how to use suspension gaps in 2025. This is a new ICT concept. He just came out with it. Again, go to his channel. You want to learn more about it. After watching the video, this is basically what I took it from it. And I also have a video of coming out next with me using this suspension gap in real time, shorting this position, and then looking for lower prices. So stay tuned for that video. But if you don't know what suspension gaps is, we're going to show you right in real time. So suspension gaps are basically a fair value gap, right? Looking at, like, for this, for example, this would be a bullish fair value gap right here. That price action right there, that missing the one candle, second candle, the third candle. This is where you be drawing out. But then your suspension gap is basically the same thing, but you need to have two volume imbalances. So volume balance at the top, volume balance at the bottom, and then you'll be drawing those out. So this, where you wouldn't be seen as a gap, you will use this as a suspension gap. And that's what he's saying that, or referring to. And what I love about this is using this now as a suspension gap and learning this new concept. It actually helped me in this trade. So I looked at this bullish fair value gap, saw it fail, saw this suspension gap. This is a 15-minute BISI that we popped into, looking for reaction, got the reaction, sell side, order block, all that good stuff, looking for lower prices. Put two contracts right here, as I saw that we were respecting the suspension gap, and we got the order block on our side as well, looking for these lows, and took partials right here, and I was looking for this partial right here, but got stopped in profit on that one right there. And what I was going to refer to is, as I'm back testing it, as I look more into it, what I do really love about only looking at this order block, only looking at suspension gaps, is really what suspension gaps really shine, in my opinion. Not only just this, but also into this. So you see that we have another suspension gap right here. So I'm going to go right here. Boom. Know what I'm going to do? I'm going to keep this, because this is my inversion level. And I'm just going to drag this one. So that is a suspension gap. And I'm going to show you another one. So this is a suspension gap right here. I'm going to draw it up right there. Again, volume balances right there. So that's your suspension gap. And then what you can see is, if you was to use the inverse, right, before you even taught it. So this is be inverse. I'm looking for this bullish candle to act as, there we go. I'll use this one just for example right here. Right, so we have, and just looking at, kind of zooming out a little bit, we have downside BISI, fair value gap, fair value gap, fair value gap, and then we got a bullish fair value gap without including the suspension gap. My point is being said is, when it's all this price action in here, if you do see a suspension gap within all this price action, I am going to majority of the time grab the suspension gap. And the reason is being, as you can see, as you draw this out in real time, say you're using this inverse, you can see that we respected the level just a little bit. We got above it, then got back below, and then we start respecting the level. But you can see that we was really respecting the suspension gap to the T. Buys closing within this suspension gap, came back, went back up. You can see that that'll be the consequent encroachment or encouragement or halfway point of this suspension gap. And you can see we didn't even get right above it. Then we started trading lower. And this is something that I'm looking for, that basically I'm saying that if it's a lot of price action within a suspension gap, so you got fair value gaps, you got all that good stuff, I'm going to be more in tune to just draw out the suspension gap instead of having all these price levels on my chart, because I'm seeing that majority of times, I'm back testing, I'm seeing majority of times where the algorithm is respecting the suspension gap and it's holding more weight throughout these the gaps and everything like that. Just my back testing. Obviously, you're only back testing, see if you confirm that, but that's what I'm seeing. And again, I wanted to just kind of showcase that, I was able to take a trade using the suspension gap. Talk about it in the next video, but I like the suspension gap. Again, don't get overwhelmed by ICT tools. I think it's just everybody's just interested in learning new concepts and stuff like that. So don't get overwhelmed. Use them to your discretion. You see it, use it. If you don't like it, it's okay. I think if you use fair value gaps, you use inversion fair value gaps. I have no idea why you wouldn't use suspension gaps. It's just I was wondering which one holds more weight, and I think he even said in the video, suspension gaps seem hold weight, and I'm kind of confirming that on my end as well as I'm doing my own back testing. I just don't take his word and go for the gospel, even though he knows what he's talking about. I kind of just want to see for myself, do the work myself. That's just kind of how I like to back testing, so I can be able to trust it more in real time. So hope this video helped. Hope it's a little more educational. Hope you get some more value from it. But stay tuned for the video to show this being done in live time and using that concept.